Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today, and today we're going to be recapping Week 2 of college football, as today was a great set of games in the top 25. You had 4 teams lose in the top 25 today, which is twice more than the top 25 teams that lost in Week 1. Alabama lost to Texas. They're the number 3 in the country. You had number 19 Wisconsin lose to Washington State. You had number 20 Ole Miss beat number 24 Tulane, and you also had for the final top 25 team to lose, the Miami Hurricanes beat number 23 Texas A&M Aggies. Let's go over the slate of games from today, and it's starting with Utah and Baylor. What a close, good game it was between number 12 Utah and Baylor, who was 0-1. Baylor controlled this game. They led for most of the ball game. They led, for most of the game leading up until the fourth quarter, until about 5 or 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Utah tied the game with a touchdown, and then Utah was able to score a touchdown in the final minutes of this ball game and take the lead and win this game and steal this game from Baylor, which would have been a huge upset for Baylor if they would have been able to beat a top 12 team in Utah. But Utah did win 20-13. Baylor's quarterback Sawyer Robertson threw 12 for 28 with 218 passing yards, and their running back Dominic Richardson had a really solid game with 14 carries and 77 rushing yards. For Utah, still no Cameron Rising for Utah. Their quarterback is still out. They used 2 quarterbacks today. Nate Johnson, quarterback, threw 6 for 7 with 82 passing yards, and quarterback Bryson Barnes threw 6 for 19 with 71 passing yards. He was the starter, though. And then rushing yards, Quindon Jackson had a really solid day for Utah with 19 carries and 130 rushing yards. They also had a total of 2 rushing touchdowns. The pass game was not that huge for Utah today. Then you have Ohio State beating Youngstown 35-7. Good day for Ohio State quarterback and their offense after only scoring 23 points of offense last week. Kyle McCord had a really solid day, 14 for 20 with 258 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns. Last week, he had 0. Then running back Trevon Henderson had a really good game with 5 carries, 56 rushing yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns. And then how about Marvin Harrison Jr. with 7 receptions, 160 receiving yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns. So this Ohio State team is a really good team, and they finally got a good bounce back. But at the same time, they were playing Youngstown. Then Deion Sanders in his Colorado home debut beats Nebraska 36-14. Shedar Sanders with another dominant performance, 31 for 42 with 393 passing yards and 2 passing touchdowns. Dylan Edwards had 9 carries for 55 rushing yards. Xavier Weaver had 10 receptions for 170 receiving yards and 1 receiving touchdown. Travis Hunter had 3 receptions for 73 receiving yards. And Colorado gets the win. And Colorado is ranked, by the way, Colorado is ranked number 22, and Ohio State's ranked number 5. I forgot to mention that. And both of them, well, Ohio State probably will stay at the same spot, but Colorado will jump up in the standings. Then you have Georgia beating the crap out of Ball State at home, 45-3. Georgia's quarterback Carson Beck had a really solid day, 23 for 30 with 283 passing yards and 2 passing touchdowns. And then how about Brock Bowers? Did he play at all today? I don't think he played. He had one weird day for Brock Bowers. Only had 1 reception for 3 receiving yards. The highest receiving yards for Georgia today was 50 receiving yards. They had 2 players. They had Arian Smith with 50 receiving yards. Their run game was dominant, though, today. The most rushing yards they had by someone was 38 yards, but they had multiple players. 38. Their following running backs had 38, 28, 18, 17, 4, and 4 rushing yards. Which I don't know what that adds up to, but that's a great win for Georgia. But at the same time, Brock Bowers probably didn't play a lot in this game because this was an easy opponent. All right, getting into another ranked matchup, you have Penn State beating Delaware 63-7. Great game by quarterback Drew Aller, who threw 22 for 26 with 204 passing yards and 1 passing touchdown. Running back Katon Allen had 19 carries for 103 rushing yards and 1 rushing touchdown. And that was really it for Penn State today. Kansas State beat Troy 42-13. Great win for Kansas State. Quarterback Will Howard threw 21 for 32 with 250 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns. And wide receiver Phillip Brooks had 7 receptions for 94 receiving yards and 1 receiving touchdown. Then Notre Dame beat NC State 45-24. Quarterback Sam Hartman, another great game. He's been on fire in their first 3 games. He threw 15 for 24 today with 286 passing yards and 4 passing touchdowns. And then the running back Audric Estman had a really good game with 14 carries, 135 rushing yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns. And even wide receiver Holden Stays had a really good game with 4 receptions, 115 receiving yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns. Then another ranked matchup, Clemson versus Charleston Southern. Clemson gets the bounce back, and Cade Klubnik has a bounce back game, 28 completions, 37 passing attempts, and 315 passing yards and 4 passing touchdowns. Will Shipley had 9 carries and 73 rushing yards, and Clemson had themselves a hell of a game today against a terrible team. Getting into more ranked matchups, you had Texas A&M losing today 48-33. Great game by Tyler Van Dyke with 5 passing touchdowns and 375 passing yards. And their player Xavier Restrepo had wide receiver had 6 receptions for 126 receiving yards, and a dominant game for Miami as they beat Texas A&M, who's ranked number 23, 48-33. Then Ole Miss beats Tulane on the road without Tulane starting quarterback 37-20. Tulane quarterback replacement Kai Horton threw 15 for 37, 231 passing yards and 1 passing touchdown, while quarterback Jackson Dart threw 267 passing yards and 2 passing touchdowns. Then getting into some more ranked matchups, you got Michigan, who's ranked number 2, beating UNLV 35-7. J.J. McCarthy threw 22 for 25 with 280 passing yards and 2 passing touchdowns, while running back Blake Corum had himself a day with 15 carries, 80 rushing yards, and 3 rushing touchdowns. A great day for Michigan against UNLV. Then you got Washington beating Tulsa 43-10. Great day for Washington quarterback Michael Penix Jr. He threw 28 for 38 with 410 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns. Tennessee beats Austin Peay 30-13. Joe Milton III throws 21 for 33 with 230 passing yards and 2 passing touchdowns, while Jalen Wright has 13 carries for 120 rushing yards, and Tennessee gets the win, but they're probably going to fall down in the standings. Then North Carolina, ranked 17, almost loses to App State 40-34. They beat him in double overtime. Drew May was a little bit off in this game today. He was sacked twice, did have a rushing touchdown, but it was 21 for 30 with 208 passing yards and 0 passing touchdowns. And that's a game that went overtime. But their running back, Amarion Hampton, have yourself a day. 26 carries, 235 rushing yards, and 3 rushing touchdowns. You don't need Drew May to do much when a running back's going to have that type of day for you. And then Duke, ranked number 21, beat Lafayette 42-7 today. Quarterback Riley Leonard threw 12 for 12 with 136 passing yards with 1 passing touchdown, while running back Jordan Waters had 11 carries for 112 rushing yards and 1 rushing touchdown. And then Oklahoma, who's ranked 18, beat SMU 28-11. Quarterback for Oklahoma, Dylan Gabriel threw 19 for 27 with 176 passing yards and 4 passing touchdowns. And Oklahoma gets a good win. This was a close game until late in the second half, but a good win for Oklahoma. And then getting into the final ranked games of the day, you have Texas beating Alabama 34-24. Great win for Texas today. A great upset for Texas. Quinn Ewers threw 24 for 38 with 350 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns, while Jatavion Sanders, the tight end, had 5 receptions for 114 receiving yards, and Xavier Worthy had 5 receptions for 75 receiving yards and 1 receiving touchdown, while former Georgia Bulldog had Adonai Mitchell had 3 receptions for 78 receiving yards and 2 receiving touchdowns, while quarterback for Alabama, Jalen Milroe, threw 14 for 27, 255 passing yards and 2 passing touchdowns. And the leader for Alabama in receiving yards was Kobe Prentice with 68 receiving yards. And for some reason, some of the other games, like LSU, is not on here. LSU beat Grambling. I think the final score was 49-10. USC. These are scores that are, I don't know why, but are not on the thing that I'm looking on the website for all the scores and the stats. The LSU beat Grambling 49-10. And then USC beat Stanford 49-10 as well. Oregon State, I can't remember who they played, but they won. I think that in Kansas State, I think I went over them already. Yeah, I went over Kansas State already. But those were the teams that for some reason are not on this list, that are ranked, that won today. You guys let me know your thoughts on today's college football games as Texas gets a huge upset against Alabama and will most likely enter the top 5 for the first time since 2010. We'll definitely enter the top 5. I think the question is, where are they? Are they at 4 or are they at 3? Where do the voters put Texas? At number 3 or number 4? I think that's going to be an interesting thing to watch when the new top 25 gets released tomorrow. That's for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed them or thoughts on today's games, and peace out.